Brakle Hawa, Brakle Hawa Shai, Brakle Hawa, Brakle Hawa Shai, Koholo Yahawa Bashima Shai, Bashima Kadej. The balance of Pastor Ellison Great No Song taught me this 100% truth of the will. Citations to Akimata, pushing the truth in all sincerity, and risk their lives to do so. Citations to the hopeful elect that are scattered among the four corners of the earth that believe in the truth. Yahawa Bashima Shai, Shalom.
A black slave owner.
I had a black ophthalmologist come through here, Ellison. We sat on this couch right here. And his great-great-granddaddy owned 68 slaves. And here I am, white, over here, and my great-great-granddaddy didn't own any slaves.
I told y'all that slavery shit didn't happen like they say it did. Now allow us to continue this goddamn education. William Ellison, long-haired ass, was the largest of 171 so-called black slave owners of South Carolina. 171. Ellison held over 900 acres, 68 slaves, and his wealth was said to be 15 times greater than any man in the state. Mind you, this 1860s. Before Ellison, Negro slave magnates Justice Angel and Mistress Horton got married in 1810. In possession of 84 slaves apiece prior, between 1810 and 1860, they had about 168 slaves and owned up to 2,700 acres of land. Matter of fact, this they plantation behind me.
A black slave.
So there you go. This Jake always coming to the rescue of his oppressor. So I just saw in the video, this Edomite was said he had a conversation with a doctor who was a so-called black man that was a descendant of this dude, William Ellison, who was a slave owner. William Ellison was his great grandfather, right? And the Edomite said his great grandfather didn't own any slaves or whatnot. But after doing some research, hold on this guy, William Ellison, it's to be known that he's a son of a slave master. As you see here, black owning blacks, the story of William Ellison. But William Ellison and his son Henry Ellison were different. William Ellison was African American, born in slavery in April of 1790 with the name April Ellison, to a slave mother and a white slave master father, Mr. William Ellison. So showing you that he's a Edomite, you know what I'm saying? Because you are what your father is, so he wasn't a Jake owning Jake. And not to say that, that probably didn't take place, Jake's owning slaves or whatnot. But, because, Jake envied the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And, the scripture said, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways. And, also, the scriptures say the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth him. So, Jake got seduced and envied the oppressor, and also, took, their own people into slavery or whatnot. But this guy, he's an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Let me start here in this article. It says the same type of letter may have been sent 1,000 times from slaveholding father to his slaveholding son in mid-19th century America South, but William Ellison and his son Henry Ellison were different. William Ellison was African American, born into slavery in April of 1790 with the name April Ellison, to a slave mother and white slave master father, an Edomite. Mr. William Ellison, as a young man, he was apprenticed to a cotton gin maker rather than working in the fields, and allowed to keep a portion of his wages he earned for his master and father money that he later used to purchase his freedom. So this, his father didn't actually, put him in hardcore slavery. You know what I'm saying? He gave him some peace, and made him an apprentice in his cotton gin. Helping him get a trade. He makes some money so he could buy his freedom as he, came an adult. But in most cases, like when these Edomites was laying with, Eve, Israelite women, having these, their seed, they was putting them in hardcore slavery because Esau Edom's the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And in our kingdom, when the Israelite men lay with the heathen women, these so-called white women, these Edomites, you know what I'm saying? These Moabites, these Ammonites, these Elamites, you know what I'm saying? When we have children with them, their mothers might be in servitude or whatnot, and we might have some compassion to make them do light duty or whatever it may be. But uh, they're, the our children themselves, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to be in slavery, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to, carry on our lineage and be immortal, you know what I'm saying? Because we're going to be the only immortal uh, people of amongst the planet, in our kingdom and whatnot. So these heathen women, they're going to flock to us, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, they do now, but, but even more so in the kingdom, because they're going to have children that's going to be immortal and they're going to have the riches, you know what I'm saying? Because women love uh, power and wealth or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read on. At the same time, he changed his name to William Ellison after his father to fit with the higher society. After purchasing his family, he moved to Sumter County, South Carolina, and hired out other free American, it's like African Americans, to work in his cotton gin shop. While working, he discovered a common problem among free slaves in the South. The expenses of wages left him with a profit that would never compete with the slave owners were earning. Wanting to move up in society, he purchased the first slaves in 1820. So as you can see, he carried on the tradition of the way of his forefathers. Because he's an Edomite, you know what I'm saying? But Jake, Jake sees things carnally. They don't understand. They see, this color thing. Especially Jake. They big on black only, Hebrew Israelites or not. So what about the tares that's amongst us? You know what I'm saying? Because this dude is definitely a tare. You know what I'm saying? So just because somebody look like you don't mean they're you. You know what I'm saying? In the spirit, because this is a spiritual thing. But Esau Edom tried to turn this into a carnal thing, a thing of color. You know what I'm saying? But um, in many of our people, Jake are carnal minded. In the scriptures say that a carnal mind is death. You know what I'm saying? That's why Jake is in the congregation of the dead. You know what I'm saying? And a spiritual mind is life and peace or whatnot. And so also a carnal mind is enmity to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So Jake always trying to see things carnally and be like, well, he mixed. There's no such thing as mixed. You are what your father are. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get that in the scriptures here. This is Numbers 1:8, which reads, and there assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Yeah, see, so they, brought the men out, and they declared their pedigree by by their father's lineage. You know what I'm saying? Because you're all what your father is. You know what I'm saying? So if your father's an Israelite, then you'll be an Israelite. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Who, what woman that he lays with, a woman of his nation, the Israelite, or a woman of a heathen nation, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite. You know what I'm saying? That child will always be Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And his, you know, children from there on will be Israelites because they go back, to you in your lineage. You know what I'm saying? As you are an Israelite. So an example we like to use, with this is Blake Griffin. He's an NBA basketball player. And his father is a so-called black man. He's actually Haitian or so-called Haitian, but he's of the tribe of Levi. And his mother is a German, a so-called white woman. And they had Blake Griffin, and he's a light-skinned so-called black man, and he actually has an Edomite wife himself. You know what I'm saying? and they have a son, and his son came out like with blonde hair, you know what I'm saying, and blue eyes. He looked like a so-called uh, white dude, you know what I'm saying, but he's not because Blake Griffin's father, you know what I'm saying, is a Levite or a so-called Haitian, you know what I'm saying, and he had him, and he laid with a so-called Blake Griffin laid with a so-called white woman and had his son. You know what I'm saying? Making him an Israelite. That's just, but he looked like a so-called white man or whatnot. So he is an Israelite. So this is not a color thing. The color structure, came about in 1681. So Esau even promoting white supremacy here in Babylon, or AKA America, AKA United States. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did, to further oppress Jake. But this is Deuteronomy 23 and 2, which reads, "A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to his 10th generation, so shall he not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to the 10th, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of Yahweh forever." Yeah, no matter how many times these other heathen nations lay with an Israelite woman, even up to the 10th generation, they still can't enter the kingdom of the Lord because they can't because they're not Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Because they're of their father. You know what I'm saying? And Jake, this is what they get that Mamzer doctrine. But you're only a Mamzer if you're of another nation. You're not a Mamzer if your father is an Israelite, because you're all what your father is. You can't a heathen man can't lay with an Israelite woman and make an Israelite babies because because the woman doesn't carry the lineage, and that's what Esau Edom teaching. These Jewish people say. You know what I'm saying? Your mother has to be a Jew for order for you to be a Jew, showing you that he is the Lord's adversary. You know what I'm saying? He opposes the Lord. He's the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Lord says you got to be of the lineage of the father. Esau Edom says you got to be a lineage of your mother, showing you, what I'm saying, he's opposed to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because he makes up his own doctrine and run with the shit. And let's get this a word, bastard. All right, bastard.
Strong's H 4464. Mamzer. Mamzer.
Jake says mamzer, but let's see what the definition. Bastard child, child of incest, illegitimate child, bastard, mixed population. See, and there's no such thing as mixed population. Born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother, or vice versa. No, the blue letter's going off. There's no such thing as a mix. As you can see, we just read in Numbers that you are of your your father. Your father, is part of your lineage. And you saw in this scripture that in Deuteronomy, an Ammonite or Moabite, they can't enter into the 5th generation. So if the 10th generation, not even up to the 10th, no matter what, you see the nations lay with as many Jakes as they want. You know what I'm saying? Jake women as they want. They're not gonna, I should say, lay with Eve. They're not gonna, you're not gonna have Israelite babies. You're gonna have heathen babies, man. That's just how it is. They'll be the mamzers. You know what I'm saying? But if you're an Israelite man, you lay with a heathen woman. You know what I'm saying? And some of these camps, they try to please the women, and they say you got to have an Israelite woman, but you don't. We don't need these women to we don't need Eve, the so-called black woman, these Israelite women, to bring the nation of Israel forth. We can use any of these heathen women and bring our lineage back. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to do that. And this is Ruth 4:21. And and Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. Yeah. So showing you, and Ruth is uh Ruth married Boaz, and Ruth is a Moabite. Just to fill you in the story. So Ruth, her mother was an Israelite. I mean, Slakia. Her mother-in-law was an Israelite, and her mother-in-law has two sons, and Ruth and her sister married her sons, but both of their sons died. Both of this woman's sons died. So Ruth's husband died, and her sister husband died. And when that happened, you know, um, uh, the mother, went back to the homeland, and uh, she told her daughter-in-laws that they can go back to the land of Moab. You know what I'm saying? Ruth decided to stay with her mother-in-law, but her sister went back, to Moab. You know what I'm saying? But Ruth, came with her mother-in-law, and when she came to the land, she met Boaz. You know what I'm saying? And married Boaz because she was a widow, and she married unto Boaz. You know what I'm saying? Who was an Israelite, and she had seed with him. You know what I'm saying? And showing you that she's of another nation. But look at uh, she's the grandmother or the great grandmother of David. You know what I'm saying? So how is it that David is an Israelite from the tribe of Judah if his grandmother is a Moabite? Because she doesn't decide the lineage. The lineage is decided by the father. You know what I'm saying? Showing you that that definition that they have is incorrect or whatnot. And the scriptures don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Going back to Numbers 118 is by the father's pedigree. So David is of the tribe of Judah, who came through a heathen woman and his grandmother Ruth. You know what I'm saying? So, which uh, this Ellison guy, you know what I'm saying? He's a tear. So we're going to get into the parable, of the wheat and the tear, because the Lord, when He comes, He's going to wipe out all these uh, heathen nations. You know what I'm saying? He's going to take up the tares who are mingled amongst us, and He's going to destroy them. But let the scriptures come out and explain it. And this is Matthew 13:24. Another parable, it's like another parable put He forth unto them, saying, and this is Yahweh Shai, because it's in red. The kingdom of heaven is linked unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. But while men sleep, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Was showing you that Esau, Edom, is your enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord says it here that an enemy came and laid seed and amongst his wheat. You know what I'm saying? So Esau, Edom is your enemy, man. Reading on. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, dost not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them. Yeah, so this is why you got to wait on your Yahweh Shai, because we just can't go start, uh, knocking out every so-called um, white person, you know what I'm saying, or every so-called Asian person, you know what I'm saying, or every so-called um, um, uh, Japanese or so-called Chinese, you know, they're pretty much Asian, but uh, yeah, because our people are mixed among them because we're scattered among the four corners of the earth, you know, or you know what I'm saying. So they're the tares growing with the wheat, you know what I'm saying? Because the Lord's gonna have to decipher who's who. You know what I'm saying? We can't just go out there, because if we just go out there and wipe out, you know all the white people or whatever Chinese people, we're going to be wiping out our own. You know what I'm saying? Along with that, you know what I'm saying? And we're still going to have tares amongst us because there's Edomites. You know what I'm saying? That look so-called black. So you're going to have tares still amongst you if you take it upon yourself to do that. And that's why the Lord's going to handle all that when He get back. But He said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, you root also the wheat with them. Let both grow together into the harvest. In the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Yeah, so the Lord, you know what I'm saying, going to come with His angels and, handle this, you know what I'm saying, in the time of the reaping. When the time of in the time of harvest, which is in His coming, in the last day, in His coming, in the end day, you know what I'm saying? He's going to come, with His army of hosts, His angels, you know what I'm saying, and He's going to, go to work. But let's jump down. It says the tares explained. So now the Lord is going to explain the parable. Then Yahweh sent the multitude away and went into the house, and His disciples came unto Him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, the Israelites, the children of Israel. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. And who's the wicked one? Esau, Edom. And let's get that. This is Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh have indignation forever. Yeah. Esau, Edom, he's the border of niggas. It's like he's the border of wickedness. He is the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord have an indignation with him forever. He's the Lord's enemy. The Lord hates him. You know what I'm saying? I'll be done with that. So let's go back. Matthew 13:39. The enemy that soweth this is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Yeah, and matter of fact, let's go get devil, because everybody also always gonna go and say, oh, the devil, they go to the spiritual, demon Satan, but the devil is also a man, and he's Esau, Edom. Let's get this definition of devil.
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
See, the last definition, apply to a man who by opposing the cause of God may be said to act the part of the devil, or to side with him. Yeah, because he's the devil. He sides with the spiritual demon Satan. You know what I'm saying? He's the spiritual. He's the uh, this, Satan in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, so he's the Lord's adversary. He's the devil. He's the deceiver. You know what I'm saying? This is the devil that deceives the whole world or whatnot. So reading on Matthew 13 and 40, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all the things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of the teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. Yeah, so the Lord is going to, gather up these tares from amongst the nation of Israel and put them to death. And this is Revelation 14 and 14. Going to the reapers, it said, which reads, and I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud sat like unto the Son of Man. This is Yahweh Shai coming on the chariot, his vehicle, so-called UFOs, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Yeah, and this is the harvest time, the time that in the Lord's comings, and the Lord's going to come with a sickle, which is a blade. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to do work. He's going to do damage. Even to the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. The Lord coming back to get his payback on them, and also, what I'm saying, these heathens. Especially Esau Edom. His chief enemy, or the chief enemy of the nation of Israel. And he sat on the cloud, thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came unto the temple which is in the heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had a sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Stop it. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of the Most High. And the winepress was trodden with the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even into the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Yeah, so the Lord gonna do much damage in his coming. He putting in work, you know what I'm saying? On these heathens, and his own, the tears of his own people that, follow the way of this devil, Esau, Edom. They're gonna get judged as well. And one last scripture to go along with this. This is Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments from Basra? This is like this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I spake in righteousness, mighty to save. Yeah, so this is the Lord, coming to, aka Babylon, Basra, Edom. Basra is the chief capital, chief city in Edom, or whatnot. And he's coming. This talking about his coming to destroy, the Edomite nations. You know what I'm saying? To give vengeance among the nations or whatnot. So the Lord is coming here. Because this is the resurrection of the Roman Empire. The same Edomites that ran that empire run this empire, because they pretty much run it the same. Because they pretty much reincarnated, and they back here to this day. Doing their wickedness as foretold or as ordered, by Yahweh Shai. Esau Edom is the modern day Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? As you read in Romans 9, who the Lord hates, and he's going to destroy and make an example of, just like he did to the old Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? Of old, in the Egypt of old. You know what I'm saying? But uh, the daughter of Babylon, aka America, aka um, so-called United States, is the modern day spiritual Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Where the nation of Israel dwell in that captivity, where the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom dwell together in our last captivity, and the Lord come to do work. You know what I'm saying? On this heathen Esau Edom, his number one, offender. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get it the worst. Read on Isaiah 63:2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him? They treadeth in wine fat. I have trodden, it's like I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain my remnant. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. Yeah, the Lord coming to redeem the nation of Israel. He can't wait. You know what I'm saying? He up there ready for the Lord to push the button so he can come down here and get the work because he's ready to get busy, on these heathens and, 2/3 of his own people, for rejecting him. You know what I'm saying? And, putting them to death, on the cross and, um, uh, you know, and denying him and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But that had to be done so he could die for the nation of Israel and save them from their enemies, and so he can restore us as a people or whatnot. And we almost to that point because uh, we at the end of Esau Edom's reign or whatnot. The so-called white man, he's about to be done. We at the time where the mark of the beast is here. You know what I'm saying? And now we just waiting for forced implementation of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's here, and they already pushing it. They going to digital currency or whatnot. They rolling that out. You know what I'm saying? And right behind it is the RFID chip mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? That's going hand in hand. So showing you that we at the end. So we got to rejoice when we see these such things because this is bringing our salvation closer. So I hope this lesson is edifying. As you can see through scripture, it shows that you are what your father is. So this Jake, this long faced ass Jake, in this video, hilarious, thinking that he got his aha moment because Jake think they woke and they got that self righteous bullshit going on, and they always want to come to the offense of their oppressor, trying to save Esau Edom or whatnot because they feel some type of way when the men of the Lord out there cursing Esau Edom out and the rest of these heathens and saying that the Lord coming to bring them judgment. All they want to do is save the so-called white man, because they love their oppressor, the envy of their oppressor, man. Ain't nothing here for Jake, man. We got to get out of here and get what's rightfully owned to us, and that's going to come in the day of the Lord. But that's pretty much it. I hope this lesson is edifying. I just want to say, Kol Hola Yahweh Bashir Mashai, Kwara Mashallah, Abba Baba, Shalom.